Hello everyone, this is Betsy from ideastimestwo. Welcome to our channel. For all the newbies and subbies, we appreciate you both so very much. We appreciate all the views, and we're just very thankful that you're here. So today I have a tutorial, and we're going to be making this. So it's a little ornament made from a Matchbox, and there's a little snippet down here. This three-dimensional little mouse with a hat, but it's an ornament, and so it hangs with the twine at the top. I did accidentally put this upside down, so that's something I can fix very easily, but made a little mistake there. So this is what we'll be making, and what I'm using today is a page from Tracie Fox's December Daily 2023 kit. It's a huge kit. She's made some December Daily kits before, I think a couple before, and mainly focused on tags, and they were smaller kits. This one is a huge kit. It's 50+ pages, and instead of focusing more on tags every day in December to assemble them and make your tags, this kit is more like design your own things. Use any pages. They don't have to be in any certain order. Just pick and choose and come up with your own thing. And so I came up with my own thing. So this page is the Matchbox itself. This is the box bottom. This is the box cover. I did not watch her video, so I'm not sure if this is supposed to go like maybe the lining of the box. I'm not sure. I don't use that in this particular project, but it's super cute, and I'm sure that would be a great use for it. So the first thing to do to make our little ornament is to make the box. And so I've cut around all the edges here. And here's the box bottom. I'm not gonna make you watch me do this whole box, but I wanted to just very briefly show you how it goes together, and then I will link below the video where Tracie is explaining how to put together that very first Matchbox kit that she had, and so I'll put that link down below for you. So anyways, cut it all out, cut along. There's when you come across the page, there's one tab, one side of each. These are the tabs, these four corners here of the plain color. And so there's one edge of that tab that has a very slight sort of long triangle cut, angled sort of edge there, and so you will cut just into the solid line, just into the corner. Just cut that off, and it will look like this, where that's cut. All right, so very briefly, so you score on all the lines, and then you'll fold on all the lines, and then what happens is when you fold these up like this, these tabs will actually fit inside of the side of the box, and then this edge wraps around like that. So this long piece wrapped around to the inside, and the tab fits snugly inside there to make the box stay together. And then you just glue each side that way, and then one of the sides will have two tabs. So so it's super simple to make. It's very easy once you get going, and but I will link her video down below, and I just wanted to show you what that looks like. And then this is the slider lid, and you score on all the lines and fold on all the lines, and then that just forms a little hollow box there. You just glue those two edges together. So very easy. I'm not going to go through that whole thing. So we're gonna start out with our box. All right, box done. So the next step is to give this little mouse a mattress and a pillow. So we're going to do that. So this project takes a little bit of wool or felt, and it takes just little scraps of fabric. Also want to let you know what I use for the face. You could use a wooden bead, or what I used is this air. It's like in the child section, but it's Model Magic. It's an air dry clay, but it sort of feels, what is it like? Feels like styrofoamish kind of. And anyway, so I just used this. You could do an oven baked clay, but like I said, a wooden bead would be super easy. In fact, as I looked for wooden beads, I didn't have any the right size, and so let's see, this piece that I made is about an inch. So if you're looking for a wooden bead, but you could make it smaller too. I mean, this, he does kind of poke out of the box a little bit, so if you'd rather have him tucked in, you could definitely make it smaller. So I started out by rolling a ball. All right, I'm going to set that ball aside for a minute because I said we were going to do the mattress, so let's do the mattress. So this piece is the mattress. So this is around 2.5 inches by 6 inches, and there's nothing sewn here. Nothing is sewn at all. Everything is glued, either hot glue or this was working well for me, Fabri-Tac, working very well. So, and then hot glue also. So those kind of were the glues I was using. And like I said, this is roughly, doesn't have to be exact, but it was 2.5 inches by 6. And I did iron them so that they're a little flat. But you definitely do not have to worry about sewing or not. This isn't complicated. Everything is kind of glued and folded and just very easy. So I wanted to fill up this box a little bit because I didn't want him to sit, you know, down inside the box so we couldn't see him very well. So I made him a little mattress, and so I just took some batting. If you have fiberfill, that'll work. You know, even like shredded paper, crumpled up paper, yarn. So it's you know, it's up to you. Very easy to come up with different ideas for this, as well as these ones that I'm using right now. So basically what I did was I folded it at the top, so just kind of have a nice round fluffy part there, and then just kind of zigzag this whole thing down in here just to help fill up the box, just like that. And I forgot to plug in my hot glue gun, but that's all right. You can use your hot glue gun here and just tack this in. Just a few spots, just so it stays in, and it will stay in nicely. Okay, and then I'm considering this to be the top of my box, and so you can see how I pushed it up here on the side just to sort of give it a spot for the pillow to sit. And then it kind of nestled into a little nest right there. So raw edges are showing, the batting is showing, and it all adds to the charm of the little bed here. All right, so we're gonna do a pillow now. Another thing, to cut a little strip for this. Not being exact, just kind of eyeballing that. And same thing here, what I did was I folded it and then folded it up. And this looks like it's going to be too big, so I'm just going to give that a little trim. And I'm going to dot that with glue. So his little pillow, I can make it even a little smaller there. His little pillow will be glued right there. This will give you a better idea too, to see if you have any, know the right size to make the head. See if you have anything laying around that'll work, or I do see something I forgot, but it's fine. We'll do it right now. So at the top of the box, before this dries, I can peel it down a little bit. Before it dries, we need to put in a little brad to hold. You can use a brad. I think a brad is a good solution, but if you think of something else, you can definitely do it. But see how I put a brad there, and then I wrap the twine around the brad for the hanger to make it into an ornament. If you're not making it into an ornament, you know, that'll be an option for you, optional for you. I think it's kind of cool too, because it kind of looks like a dresser pole, even if you don't hang it up. Let's see, I was looking for my little tool. Here it is. This is a little dotting tool for painting. All right, so what I'm going to do is try to get this centered. I'm going to dot it with a pen, I guess, here. All right, so I got this in the center, a little mark. I also recommend, this is a little top heavy, and so if you put it right in the center, it's going to hang down. I don't know if you can see it or not, but it hangs down forward just slightly. So I counteracted that a little bit by putting the string coming out in the front and going up. That counteracts the balance a little bit, but I think it's a better idea to put the brad just a tiny bit, so halfway is about right here, so I would move it up just maybe 1/8 of an inch, poke your hole, and then put the brad in. And be sure to put the brad in loosely if you're going to do the twine like I did, and the reason for that is so you have room to tuck that twine underneath. But I did wait to the last step for that, just because it's kind of easier to work with it without that loop hanging down. All right, so there we go. No harm done. No harm done. So now we have a little bed and a pillow. Okay. So obviously I'm not going to put the Santa Claus on the front. Well, not obviously. I mean, if you like that on the front, you definitely could use that. I'm going to go with the more plain look, so the focus is on the mouse. So his bed's going to look like that. So the bottom part is not going to show at all, which is why we can kind of scrunch and scrimp on the bottom part. But there's his bed, and at the end I'm going to put a little dot of glue there and then push this up where it should be so that it doesn't fall off. It's snug, so it probably won't fall off at all, but just in case. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is make the head. Okay, so like I said, with the air-baked clay, I'm going to roll it into a ball. So now we're just making the head. This is going to be about 3/4 of an inch. You know, you can make it any size you'd like, or like I said, you could use a wooden bead if you can find one the right size. And I make it into a round ball. You could use, you know, oven baked clay. Okay, so I just formed more of a pointed head there. And then I simply took a blunt pencil. I went up about 1/3 of the way from the pointed end, which is the nose. I made some little indentations for those, and one for the nose right here on the end. And then I will glue beads in. So these beads, I wish I could tell, these are 4mm beads. I think for this particular size head I need smaller ones, but I found these beads, I just grabbed some out of my bin and I couldn't find any more of the exact same size. So I grabbed these. They're 4mm, and I do think they're a little too big. So use the glue of your choice. You might want to do super glue or something like that. You could also wait until this dries before you do this. But for the video, I thought I would just come right in and show you exactly how I did it. Okay, and put those about halfway in, I would say. And trying to get my glue off there. If the head gets a little too squished, it's pretty easy to manipulate it. Of course, if it's dry already, that's gonna be it. So it's kind of up to you. It's really for this one, I worked on it while it was not dry because I was just impatient, and now I'm working on it and then I felt like if I had put those indentations and worked on it when it was dry, it would have been easier. So, but I am doing it this way again because of the video. I just want to show you how I did it. Okay, so that is a little bit of a sample of how you would do the face. Also, at this point, I would grab, I'm trying to find my little brush. There we go. I would grab a little brush or a Q-tip or something like that. I'm also going to try, there's a little bit of a glue string right there. I'm going to try to get that off. Okay. Smooth that down a little bit. Okay, so there's our face. At this point, I'm going to put some little pink cheeks on him. So I have a very tiny brush, but like I said, you just use what you have. And I'm going to put a little blush on him on each side, kind of on each side of the nose. Okay, don't push too hard on your clay, especially if it's wet, like mine is. Wet, just meaning not dried up yet. Okay, then what I did was I took some, okay, so this guy has whiskers, right? So I took some, it's like an upholstery thread, but you could use any type of thread. You could use even stick pins that maybe you can, pinch off the head, or little if you have bead making supplies, a lot of times you'll have little wire and stuff like that. You could definitely do wire on here. What I'm going to do now, I'm just going to so I've threaded this with two layers of the upholstery thread, and it's black. So what I'm going to do is just poke with a needle straight across until I get a whisker length there, and then I'm going to snip it off right here. So now you've got 4 whiskers, like straight off the bat. Then you can come in and maybe just a little lower, maybe a little higher, whatever you choose. Come in and same thing, stop at whisker length and then cut that off. Okay, so now he's got, kind of looks like a seal at the moment. And now he's got some big old whiskers. You can do more, you can do less, and then you can very carefully. I don't have my this bottle. I wrecked it, so use a fine tip bottle. And then you can just put a little dab of glue in the whisker holes there, and that'll keep those from just being pulled out. But if the holes got big, my needle I think was just a tiny bit big. But if the holes got big, just pat them down a little bit. Okay, so now we've got that. Now the next step, kind of the final step for his face, right, is to give him ears. So I cut ears about a 1/2 inch circle. So just doesn't have to be exact. I almost went off camera there. I usually chop it off at the end, so it's about a 1/2 inch circle, chop it off at the end. Use your hot glue, pinch this. Let's get our pink in the middle first. So the pink is going to be a little bit smaller than the 1/2 inch circle ear. In fact, as I've been making a little rounded triangle, so a little teardrop kind of shape like that, and glue that onto the ear. Just a little dot like that. And then, and I was doing this next part with hot glue, I was pinching it together like this. Just pinch it so it's got a little like pleat in it, and make 2 of those. And then those get glued. And here again, you're going to want to make a little. So these aren't ready yet, so I'm going to go off camera and finish these. But you're going to want to make a little dent here, and a little dent over there, and we're going to glue those ears right in. Okay, I made my little ears, and I poked some holes there so I can stick the ears down. My hot glue gun's going here, and I'm just going to put a little dab of glue on that. If it's too much, I'm just going to swipe some off. I saw this lady one time, she was doing like flower arrangements, and she had a glue, like a melted glue pot, and she just dunked the stems of her flowers in that glue. It's hot glue, and then she was good to go. I can imagine though, if you make a mistake and if you burn yourself, I think that would be horrible. But anyway, it was such a great idea for her, because she's just dunking stems in there, and normally your fingers are kind of far back away from the stem. All right, so I poked those in. I'm gonna make sure now that they are sitting in there pretty well. I'm gonna get. Okay, so that's what that little guy looks like. Also want to let you know that it was very handy to have a neck on here. Even though it's not going to show, it just gave it some bulk, some room to glue. And so I'm going to rough this up at the bottom there and just give him a big old neck. Like I said, it's not going to show, so. And I'm going to rough this up as well. Put a little glue on there. Sort of a fake body, fake neck. And then, see what I mean? So his head's sticking back pretty far, and to kind of make it flush, kind of lay on the pillow nicely, what I did was I just chopped it off just to make it a little flatter in the back. And then that's what I actually used to make his arms. So the arms, just roll a little bit of clay or whatever you're doing, cut it in half, and now you have 2 hands. And all I did was I rounded off one of the edges, it doesn't matter which one. Rounded it off into like a paddle. And then I just took a sharp object, you could use a needle, and then just poked little fingers like that. Alright, so then have those at the ready, because those will be ready to glue on in 1 second here. See if I can make these real quick so you don't get bored here. I don't want to make this video too long either. Okay, so that's pretty good. Make these kind of long because they are going to actually wrap around the blanket. So what I did was kind of made an indentation on the back so it bends easily. Like that. So we've got our little paws. And my lines kind of lost their definition, so I'm just putting them back in. Okay, so we got a nice little rounded paw, and it will be glued right onto the blanket. It's not going to be glued onto the mouse body or anything. Okay, so now's the time where I started to use the box lid a little bit more, so I kind of get him in the right position. Oops, and I might have glued this. No, it looks good. It looks good. It looks good. Whew. Scared me for a minute there. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and glue this guy. Oh, I forgot to tell you about the hat too, but I better do that right now before we glue him in. Oh, I forgot to tell you about a little bit of fabric for the hat. So this is going to be the blanket. And so his hat, I just used the red. And this hat is about 1.25 inches by 2 inches. So I think that's about right. Once again, don't do anything like that. So what I did was I folded up one edge to make like a fake trim, like a Santa hat would usually have. I'm going to just put a tiny bit of glue on there to hold that rim up like this. Okay. Then I used just a little scrap. Well, let me glue this first into a cone, sort of a cone shape. So I'm going to put a little bead of glue down one of the edges and then just wrap it into a cylinder, like a cylinder shape. We'll pinch it together to actually make the cone. Okay, so just very loose and easy, right at the edge. Just go ahead and put a bead of glue, a line of glue, and then just fold this over like that. And this happened on my other one too. I didn't put as much glue down here, so it just popped open, and that's perfectly fine. It didn't bother me at all. Okay. Then you're going to take a tiny bit, the tiniest bit of batting or stuffing of some kind. Poke that in there. And then what I did was I pinched this so it's more of a point. So we'll get that more of a point there. And just be careful not to burn yourself. I used a tool here to help me out quite a bit. Okay, so just pinch that together, make a little Santa hat. And then what I did with the other one is kind of fold it off to the side like that, so it looks like it's drooping down. And all I did for that was I put glue in just a few spots here. Oops, I'm running out of glue stick, it looks like. Oops, and I got too much glue, so I'm going to tap it off. Tap it off a little bit, get those glue strings out of the way. Okay, and just fold it over until it sets. Which will just take a minute here. Get the strings off my fingers. I forgot to bring in a pom-pom, but at this point you would glue the pom-pom onto the end of that. All right, and then we're also going to put hot glue. So see, it's going to stay for us now. So put hot glue on the just on the inside of this rim and a little bit on the batting. Okay, so, and you don't have to do it around the whole rim, just enough, like probably 3 spots, so the hat will stay on our little mouse. Make sure your seam's in the back. I put his ears a little closer together than my other one, but they're all going to be a little different. So just hold that till the glue is set up, which I think it is. And now he's ready to glue in there. So let's glue him in. I can glue that hat down a little better too now. It doesn't need to be like a super large amount of glue. I'm going to take this off so that I get him in here correctly. And if I think they're sticking up too far, just push it down. Put a few extra dots of glue back there, whatever you need to do. But I think he's going to be good. I think it'll be great. Okay, on the blanket, now I need to measure this for you. But on the blanket, so the top edge, I did put some rickrack on here, and I just did that with Fabri-Tac. Very carefully, because I used very tiny rickrack on that. So you can put a little trim on there, a little satin ribbon would be super cute. But I'm gonna sort of let you know how far apart I put these hands. And that's hard to say because that metal piece. They are about a ½ inch apart. And then that makes him look, you know, like he's snuggling in with his blanket. So I will go ahead and do that. I'll tell you what, I'm gonna put this blanket, I'm gonna put that fringy stuff on, fringy part, the selvage edge, at the top, so it looks like he has a little fringy blanket. And this looks pretty big, so let me cut this back. I'm not sure why I said 4 by 4, because it's more like it's more like 3 by 3.5 or so. Maybe 3 by 3 would actually work. There, so he's getting there. He's getting there. Now we're going to glue these hands on. Okay, so what I did was just glue on the hand part itself, not the arm. And if you get too much glue, it's better to just wipe it off so it doesn't ooze out everywhere. But I am talking about a delicate hand here, so. Okay, so in the center and off to the side a little bit, put the hand, and then about ½ inch. Okay, you couldn't see that, and I apologize. So I put a little glue on the back side of the hand. I think you saw that part. And then the center off to the side a little bit, put one of the hands, and then on the about a ½ inch apart, put the other hand. Okay, so just put them like that. Looks a little creepy right now, but but it'll look good. And then just fold it down over the blanket, back side. Okay, and then he looks like he's got his paws sticking out of the blanket. Okay, you could almost, without cracking, you know, the model magic here. And if you need to redefine those fingers, if it's still wet, like you've maybe done it and it's dry already, just like that. Okay, and then take your hot glue once again, dot it in a few places. Okay, on the top. And we're just going to make sure that that sticks to his body. Okay, make sure that sticks to his body. And then we can just sort of tuck this down however we feel like it. Okay, just tuck it down. You can cut it off if you want, but I think it looks kind of good wrinkled up like that, crinkled up like you would a real blanket. He actually looks cute just like that. And then you know, you can scrunch this up, you can cut it off because it's not going to show, but it gives it a little poofiness and depth. So I kind of like it that way, but like I said, you don't have to make it as the same way I do. I'm sure you've got plenty of great ideas too. So this just gives you a little bit of an idea how I did it. All right, and you can put spots of glue under there to make sure the blanket's gonna stay where you put it. And then just slide that lid on as far as you'd like to go up. Okay, and there you've got it. So I'm not gonna go through. A little pom-pom here is super cute. That would be great. Tie your tie on here and make a little loop, and then decorate this up too if you'd like to. You could just tie it with a bow. I put a little snippet. You could do a little snippet. I don't know if I showed that to you. I started and stopped this video several times, and so I'm not sure if I showed that to you. So it's a 3-dimensional snippet. Or you can like going back to this kit. There are numbers, labels, some little images you could cut out, or just put one of these squares on. What else? Well, she's got tons of other images and stuff to put on there. You could do like a 3-dimensional, like a pop-up flower, like a poinsettia right here. Make it pop up a little bit. So you could do any number of things. I hope this gave you a fun little idea, and be sure to check out Tracie Fox's December Daily Kit 2023. It is amazing. So I appreciate you. Thank you for joining me today, and I hope you enjoyed this video and it gave you some fun ideas for a little bit of an ornament, maybe as a gift would be super great. Or if you make your kids ornaments every year, or maybe you just want to give it a whirl, that would be awesome. Thank you. You can check us out on Instagram, our Etsy shop, and our Facebook group. We would love to see you at all those places. Take care, everybody, and I hope you have a great week. Thank you. Goodbye.